Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Cressivo channel, where we live stream every weekday. And we talk all about options, using options, selling puts, selling covered calls to help you create an amazing lifestyle. Because what's money for, right? Like, money is just this paper stuff. And what does that mean? It kind of comes and it goes. And it's really, I don't know, not that real to begin with. I'm not going to get spiritual or go down a rabbit hole or anything. But what I'm saying is this: we all want to use money to create a different sort of lifestyle, a better sort of lifestyle that we're looking for, right? Like, why are we on this planet for? Why are we spinning in the universe? It's to, I mean, everybody's got their own philosophy. My philosophy is I want to be happy all the time. It's interesting. I used to share that with an old friend of mine, and he had a sort of a different philosophy. His philosophy was helping others, and I like to help others as well. And I think the best helping others is when you help others, and then, you know, it all kind of comes full circle. So this channel, these videos, the app that I walk you through with you on all of these videos and live streams kind of like generated from the same place, right? So I've been trading a really long time, super long, and I love trading. I'm super passionate about it. I'm a big believer that, you know, if someone is passionate about anything, it doesn't matter what it is, like whatever your passion is, go to that, because you will be a rock star in that field. It takes, you know, anybody can learn anything. So I'm a big believer of that, right? Anybody can learn anything. It takes, you know, some effort, due diligence, maybe mentorship, you know, learning, stick-to-itiveness, that kind of thing. I think I might have just made that word up. But anybody can learn anything. But when you become like truly like successful, right? That comes with being passionate about whatever it is that you're doing. So everybody's got their own thing. Some people are like into music. Some people are into, you know, theater. Some people are into different business types things. I've always been into trading, always, ever since I was in my early 20s. And it's kind of like I've never looked back. And so this whole journey of like helping others and creating this app is to kind of like, you know, fits in that model of let me do all things trading, all things options. And I'm always trying to do things better than, you know, what's out there. I feel like I'm a disruptor of a sense, right? Like, I've always kind of been like, I don't want to say the black sheep, but I've always had thoughts and beliefs that were probably most often not consistent with the mainstream public. And I feel good about that. So it used to sort of like make me reflect a little bit, like, am I looking at it the right way? Why do all these other people think it's this way when I really think it's that way? And I've come to be okay with that with myself. And I enjoy being a disruptor. And as I've gone through this trading journey, I have seen like one example after another example after another of things that just don't work properly. So for example, people that trade stocks, I'll just use like the most basic premise, right? People that trade stocks, man, that is a broken system. It just is. There's no, and if you disagree, please let me know in the chat. And feel free to put some hearts as we go if you like what I'm saying, or feel free to disagree. I got thick skin, and I'm not offended very easily, and I like to encourage dialogue, even if it's contrary to, you know, my own thoughts. I'm a very reflective person, so you know, my thoughts are not perhaps the right thing. There's not really a right or wrong. It's kind of like, you know, what are your beliefs based on your experiences, right? That's really where beliefs come from, is based on your experiences, based on, you know, oftentimes thoughts of other people that we don't even recognize, that are kind of like seeping into our head. But if you disagree with anything I'm saying, I encourage you to put a comment in the chat, or if you agree, that's cool too, or if you have questions as well. Let me not get off on us. I feel like sometimes I go off the side path here. So going back to seeing things that are broken. Stock trading is broken. It's fundamentally broken because, you know, all stocks go up and down. It's like a roller coaster. Any stock, like, just pull up any ticker and pull up a chart of it, like a 1-year chart or a 5-year chart or a 10-year chart, and you're going to see ups and you're going to see downs. And that's just the way it is, right? And that's the nature of stocks. It's like what they do, right? It's like the nature of a dog is to like smell the butt of another dog. This is kind of the same thing. The nature of a stock is to go up and go down. So that said, like when we think about the stock journey, right? Like I buy a stock and I like it and I think it's a great company and I want it for the long term and I buy it and I hold it. I'm going through the turbulent roller coaster ride and I'm not getting anything out of it. Like all I get out of it is I get to look at my statement that I get in the mail or I look at my statement online and I see my value perhaps go from here to here, right? And that makes me happy perhaps. But like what value more than that do you get out of it? You can't take any of the money unless you sell it. And if you like it so much, like why would you sell it? So it's kind of like this broken system. In my view, it's broken. So is there another way, right? And there is another way. There's another way when you sell options because it's so amazing. It creates income for yourself on a regular basis. And that's money, that's cash flow, and that lets you do the cool things that you want to do. Me, like I like to make money because I like to spend money. So for me, it's about like, I like to accomplish something, first of all, right? So like building this app, man, it makes me feel good. I think that's part of like maybe the ego in us, right? I think this is gonna be a trading talk, but also a spiritual talk. And if you dig it, cool. And if you dig it, don't dig it, that's cool too. like it's all good. It makes me feel good talking about this stuff. So it's whatever it is, right? So for me, I like to accomplish something because it makes me feel good. And then I like to make money because I like to spend money. And I don't like to necessarily spend money on myself, although I do that. But I really, really, really enjoy spending money on other people. And, the people that are important in my life. And that just brings me joy. So that's why I'm trading. That's why I started trading a long time ago. Well, I think it just started like at the beginning when I was in my early 20s. As like, oh my gosh, what do you mean? I don't have to like go to a job and get paid. I could get paid a different way. So that was like a light bulb moment for me, right? So now it's kind of like morphed into this, like, I want to make money and I want to spend money. And I want to teach you guys. And as I'm building this app for myself, so all the stuff that I'm building is like geared toward like, man, during my journey, what would I want to see? What would help me make easier choices, make better choices, make my, trading more efficient and so many of those things, but along the same lines. And so it started as that. And then it's like, well, if it's great for me, it's probably great for lots of other people. And we have a bunch of subscribers and that's amazing. And thank you if some of you guys are on here right now. Thank you for the wave, Steve. Appreciate that. So as we get started, I want to talk about a couple things. I want to kind of speak to some questions that I've gotten over the last couple of days, and then I want to share with you a couple of cool upcoming things that might be of interest to you, right? So to share, to kind of speak to and answer some of the questions that people have. A lot of people have this question, like I buy this stock and then it goes down and I don't know what to do, right? So that is like probably one of the biggest things that new traders particularly talk about. Joyce says the strategy is amazing. Yeah, welcome Joy. Welcome back, Joy. Listen, I gave you a shout out yesterday. I'm gonna do another one because it's so impressive. Man, when you dive in and like study something like insatiably, right? Like you have this insatiable desire to learn this thing. Like there's no scenario in which that results in a failure. And I want everybody to hear that. And this is important because a lot of people do trade stocks and they trade options and they fail and they lose all their money. And then they throw their hands up and say that the system's broken, it doesn't work, or blame this or blame that. And that happens a lot, right? But if you like dive in and like put yourself into this like learning mode, like I want to learn options and I'm going to do all that I can to understand that and be successful. There's no end result that happens that's not successful. It's just that's how the world works. Like that's how the universe works. That's how the world works. Like when you dive in, and that's why it's the most success comes from people that are passionate about what they're doing, because it's like a natural thing. Like when you're passionate about something, you jump into it more, you learn more, and it it just helps you accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, right? So that's it. So the strategy I think Joy is referring to is like, you sell puts, right? You identify a stock that you like, you sell a put that's trading away from where it is, And if the stock goes down, you buy the stock. Like, why in the world, I want to know, and I want you guys to answer me in the chat, why in the world would anybody go buy stock and not trade options if they know how this works, right? Like, why would I go buy 100 shares of Apple at, I don't know, however much it's trading at, $150 a share, whatever, if I can sell a put and get paid and then only buy it if it goes down, right? So it's like all these goofy people trading stocks, they just don't know any better. They just like, we don't know what we don't know until we know it, right? So, and this is a perfect example of that. So going back to the issue that people have, I sold this put, I got to sign the shares. Now the stock came down a lot. What do I do, right? I don't understand. So the first thing is you got to make sure that you got into the right trade. So did you trade the right ticker? Are you just trading some meme stock, or you used one of my scanners or a scanner elsewhere in the marketplace and you saw that this thing could make you like 200% and you said, let me grab that, let me trade that ticker, right? Don't do that. Like, it's got to be a stock that you resonate with, that you believe in long term. Like I typically, and I'm a creature of habit, by the way. I'm a creature of habit with trading and with life. And I think that that's advantageous to people in a lot of ways. I'm going to give you an example. So I'm kind of like an all or nothing person. Like when I go to the gym, man, I go to the gym every fucking day, every morning, 8:30, like clockwork, Monday through Friday. That's it. And there's nothing that happens or could happen that would make me not do that. Like, I schedule my time around that, and that's just what it is. And because I know if I don't go to the gym every day, I'm not going to go to the gym probably all week, because I'm a creature of habit. Habit builds you who you are, makes you who you are. And trading is the same thing. You got to replicate the same things over and over again. So what I'm saying is this, like, when I trade the same tickers over and over again. Like, you don't have to be like a squirrel, right? Attracted to the next best thing, right? Like, oh my gosh, this dude on YouTube was talking about this ticker ABC. Let me check that out. My neighbor was talking about this ticker. Let me check that out. Get that nonsense out of your head. Identify a handful of stocks, or just start with one. Like, what stock do you like? I love Tesla, right? So Tesla has many years, been one of my favorite stocks. And as I trade it, I become more in tune with it. And a lot of trading is emotion, believe it or not. It's not necessarily all like, hey, let me work the math out on it. It's like, how do you feel about things? How do you respond to, let's say, unanticipated events as they unfold, right? And as you trade the same ticker, you kind of get a sense of, okay, Tesla, okay, it dipped down. Like, they had earnings. Tesla's famous for this, right? They have earnings. They hit it out of the park, and they're doing well because they're a solid company, solid. And then the stock goes down, right? And it's because goofy like traders go in and they had these let's say perhaps higher expectations, and Tesla fell short of their expectations. They go in and sell their shares, and that kind of pushes the stock down. But you learn like how that stock behaves. And when you're selling a put, you have that comfort factor of knowing, okay, if I got to buy the shares, good. I'll sell a covered call. Listen, assignment is not a failure. If you are about to get assigned on a short put and you're thinking, man, I got to roll this thing, or man, I wish I didn't have to buy that stock, then you know what? You're in the wrong trade. You chose the wrong trade. It's so fucking easy, people. Listen, you do it short term, number one. You look at like 1 week, maybe 10 days or something. Everything is short term, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and we don't want our capital tied up for that long. And we want to like just make incremental gains, incremental money, incremental cash flow, and lock it in over and over and over again. This is not freaking rocket science, people. Sell a put, sell a covered call. These are all really basic concepts, and I hope it's really starting to click for you. So if you're about to get assigned and you're thinking, man, I shouldn't, I don't want to buy those shares, you're in the wrong trade. So you have to identify that and change. You can't keep doing the same thing that you've been doing and then expect a different result. Like, when these things happen, you got to step back and reflect and self-reflect and say, why did I do that? What could I have done differently? Just like life, people. Life is the same way. Trading and life is very similar, right? Like, I don't know, like if I have, my emotions are really in a very good regulated spot lately, but they haven't always been that way. So like a long time ago, I used to have a bit of a temper, as an example. Some of you might see that in me. I got a little bit of that New York attitude sometimes, and I would pop, let's say, and typically people just pop because they're already going through something, so something minor happens and it's like a trigger, right? And afterward, as I started going through like this life journey, right? I started thinking, well, what could I have done differently? Like if I did this other thing, like how could I have gotten this different result? Trading is the same thing, right? So if you're thinking, man, I don't want to buy those shares, I don't have more money to sell another put. If you're making the right choices to begin with, I said this yesterday, I'm going to say it again. It's like building a house. When you build a house, you need a foundation, right? The foundation is the structure of the whole thing. You got to make sure you pour the proper concrete. You got to make sure the thickness, or the PSI, I think they call it, or whatever, is the proper ratio, specs, however the construction people, contractors say those words, right? Because as you build the house, it can be good for a period of time. Like I can build some house with some really janky foundation, and maybe it's okay for like 6 months or a year or maybe even 5 years. But then a hurricane comes and man, that thing like blows down as if it was a bunch of twigs. Trading is the same thing. I see a lot of you guys, and I talk to a lot of you guys. Like you guys send me emails. I love that. You put questions here on this live stream. You put questions in the YouTube, all kinds of different things, right? And I love that. And I see certain patterns, believe it or not, over and over and over again. I see people doing the wrong thing, and they're successful because they're lucky, because the market's going up and it's easy to make money, but they don't realize it's like building a house and you need that proper foundation. So I'm glad that you guys are here and you're here to learn things. Listen, I'm going to launch a live event. I haven't done a live event in a while, so I used to do them quite often, but it's been a while. So I'm going to launch one soon. If you're not, if you're not in my inner circle, which is free, by the way, just go to my website, cressivo.com, and there's a spot that says inner circle. You put your email on there, and the purpose of that, and again, it's free. The purpose of that is when I launch new things, I send out emails, blast emails, and tell people about it, because I am going to do a live event coming up. And it's going to be off the hook. It's going to be like none other that I've done before. It's I don't have all the details yet. I'm kind of working through that. I kind of woke up this morning with some like cool ideas. Sometimes I wake up, I think I got up at like 4:30 this morning, and sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like something pops into my head. I write it down and I start working on it. It's gonna be a learning event, but it's also gonna go through like this new module. I'm gonna walk you guys through it, and I'm gonna make this public for app subscribers probably later today, maybe tomorrow. It's a paper trading module, right? So you won't see it yet because I'm kind of testing things. So here's the thing: if you're trading already, great. If you're not trading and you want to start trading and you want a paper trading with broker dealers is kind of a broken process, like stock trading is, because the fills don't work properly. You can't see all the data. So what I'm doing is, and this is the focus of my app, which is a fucking rock star app, by the way. And I'm not saying that because it's me. I'm saying it because it's totally legit. The focus of my app is to create all these things that I wish I could use myself, or that I know would be helpful for other people, that doesn't exist anywhere. It just doesn't. So this paper trading app is like, okay, well, let me look at, I don't know, I was talking about Apple. I haven't traded Apple in a really long time, by the way, but I'm going to just use that as an example. Let me load the option chain. Let me look at puts. Let me look at calls. Let me, if I want to buy 100 shares at the market, or a limit order, or sell shares, let me put an order in, and then it shows here in my positions, just as if you had an account with a broker dealer. Very, very similar. And then also you can kind of click. This is, and by the way, if you're an app subscriber, this is all the stuff that you already see on your live account, right? So you can sync your live account with your broker dealer, and you can see positions, you can see a trade journal, you can see your realized gain loss. So this is going to have the same functionality, but it's going to let you practice in a way more efficient way that it does not exist in the marketplace today. So I'm super excited about that. So that will be open, and it's going to be part of this app, by the way. And I think this live event, again, I haven't planned all the details, but I think the live event, I'm going to do something with this paper trader and include some sort of like 30-day whatever, so you can practice. That way you can listen to me on YouTube, and then you can look at this app, and then you can put your trades in, and then you can kind of like get your feet wet kind of thing. It's going to be so helpful, right? So there's that, and then there's also Academy, which I built a while ago, and some of you guys have it, and then I closed it for new subscribers because I was making some changes with it, and I don't want to be overwhelmed with too many people, and then I get like, let's say like emails with questions or whatever. So I just I paused it. I kept it for all the people that are already there, and then I paused it for new people. And now I'm moving it to the App Store. So that's going to come out probably today or tomorrow, actually. It's free, by the way. And I'm not up here like just selling you stuff. I do sell stuff too. I mean, obviously I can't I'm not a person that I'm going to spend 24/7 just helping other people, and then I don't make any money for myself. So of course there is some of that, and there's value to that. Believe me, if you pay $100, you're going to get 300 exponentially at least in value. So that's my big belief. Whatever I charge X dollars for, I want the person to get at least 3 times that in value. That's sort of the metric that I use. But the app is free on the App Store. And what it is, it's like modules that teach you investments and trading and options, and they're like questions that you kind of walk through. It's super fun, super easy, and it's designed to help you learn in a really easy, efficient manner. So sometimes people send me messages or whatever, and they say, hey, I want to see a video on this, or I want to understand this better, or do you have a video on that? This will help people learn, right? So it's a learning application, but it's fun. So that is free, and then there's an AI associated with it. And that's a paid version, but it's not expensive. It's $12 a month or $79 a year, super inexpensive. And it's not just some Claude or Chat GPT AI. I input a lot of my data into the code to teach people and answer people with my voice. So it is super dope, man. It's so make sure you're on the inner circle, and I'll drop emails when this stuff comes out. All right, let me go through some of the questions. Joyce says, I like Palantir, so I sold a put in 2 different accounts last week, and I got assigned. I sold covered calls on each, about $5 over each strike, and it blew up yesterday. Should I wait until it expires? When you say blew up, I don't know if you mean went up a lot or went down a lot. Let me just pull up Palantir here. Let's see. It's just easier for me to just pull it up on the broker site. Oh my gosh, it did blow up. So here's what you should do, Joy. And I think we have a session tomorrow, so we can also walk through it like one-on-one if you want. But anytime something like this happens, you want to analyze what we call liquidate now or wait. Liquidate or wait, right? It's kind of like the abbreviated version. And you want to see exactly okay, if I bought my call back and then I sold the stock, what would I net? Right? So for example, look at this rocket ship up, right? So the stock goes up a lot. That means your call price went up a lot. So let's say, I'm just going to use basic numbers. You sold a call for $200, but the stock rockets up. Now that call is worth $600. But you got to look at the whole thing. It's look at the whole scenario and evaluate it. So you can perhaps buy your call back and take a loss, but then sell the shares at the same time, and your net gain is favorable. And the advantage of perhaps doing that, so you want to see what that looks like if I did that today versus if I wait until Friday and it expires. So usually and you can see that in the app, by the way. So if you click on if you're on your positions page, there should be a button that's dynamic that pops up when the call is in the money. And the way that works is you want to analyze and if you just click the button, it'll analyze it all for you. It pulls up all the data. It will show you, okay, if I liquidated that whole position now, bought my call back and sold my shares, how much would I get? X dollars. Let's say $496. I don't know. And then it'll compare, okay, if I waited until Friday, I might make $540, whatever that number is. And then you can say, okay, well, a lot of these things, there's no right or wrong, right? So you can step back and evaluate, okay, I can liquidate it now and capture X dollar gain and lock that in and take the risk off the table. Or I can wait and collect a little bit more, but you keep the risk until that expiration. So it's whatever fits your your appetite, I guess, the best. So usually, like, let's say sometimes people might be overextended in their account. If you're overextended, that might be a reason to liquidate it now instead of waiting. If you're high on that position, if you want to maybe reallocate that capital to something different, there's a few different scenarios that you would think about if you wanted to do that. But you're going to want to go through that liquidate or wait button. And bravo, by the way, that happened. And that happens. So we don't know if the market's going to go up or down. Now, what happens now when we see this gaps are interesting because gaps usually fill. So usually, like the momentum, right? So I don't know what happened with Palantir. You could look at, maybe they did earnings. I'm not sure. Something happened that made them, kind of jump overnight. So now we have momentum. So sometimes, especially for the short term, that could keep going. And sometimes what you could do is, like, let's give an example. So let's say Palantir is 163 and change. So we can take a look in the trade builder as an example. Like, let's say I want to buy Palantir and sell a covered call. This is when you want to do sometimes a buy right? I'm not saying that you should, but this is like a scenario in which it's often favorable. So you would look at Friday as an example. Now Palantir is at 163. So let's say I sold a 165 call. Let's say I wanted to buy the stock and then sell a call right away. If we do that with the momentum, like as this stock is rocketing up, and we do it super short term, it's often very favorable. So sometimes you can just like keep flipping your money in and out, and we can see how that looks. And we use this app to look at that, right? So here's how much capital I need. Here's how much premium I get paid, $375. Here's how many, I hold it for 3 days. I'm making 200, almost 300% on my money, right? But be conscious of the fact that we have this gap, and at some point it's quite possible, or probable even, that it retraces back down to fill that gap. So it's something you want to keep in mind. Joyce says, I'm fine with getting them called away. Yeah, you should be. Like, who cares about stocks? We use and abuse stocks to create income. That's all we do. Like, you're either a stock trader or an income trader. Now, this is kind of like, this is interesting, just looking at the chart. And I don't do a lot of chart stuff. Maybe I'll do a video today on charts. This is kind of like a sort of, it's testing the resistance, right? So you have resistance is here, and you have like support levels here generally. So you have resistance here, and then it tested it here and dipped back down, and now it's testing it again. So this is interesting where it's at. You guys see my crosshairs on the chart. If Palantir really starts to go up to here, it's probably going to keep going, and then you have to be super conscious of, you don't want it to go parabolic, like super high, super fast, because it will come back down. Like everything, like throw a ball up in the air and it comes back down. It's gravity, right? Same thing with options. So you wanna be conscious of that. Let's see, on GLW and Marvel, I got assigned in the 200s, so I've been selling puts for good premium. Yeah. You never want to be afraid of assignment. So that's the thing. Like when you sell covered calls and you get your shares assigned and you sell your shares, good. You made the premium. It's all good. Even if you didn't make a lot of capital gain, you made the premium. That's why we're doing this. When you sell puts and you get assigned, good. I like the stock anyway. I like that price. Now I'm going to sell a covered call against it. You got to be in a scenario where this happens, good. That happens, good. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Yeah. Let's see. I close at 70 to 80% over and over again, so I haven't actually been assigned on leg 2 yet. And that's a good point. And that's why you need, let's say, an app like this as an example, where you, or actually you would look at the positions. So where you're seeing, like, what is my, this is all red. Oops, sorry. This is all red. But what you're seeing, like when you have like an unrealized gain in the position, it's a great idea. I'm going to build some functionality to send push notifications, by the way, to prompt users when they hit a certain percentage that they buy that back, because it's really easy to make money and harder not to lose it. And it's a great idea, and Joy is using this strategy, and that's fantastic, to lock in your gain. Okay, I made 70% of my money on selling that put. Okay, cool. I'm gonna buy it back, and I'm gonna lock in that gain, and then I can sell another put, and you can keep doing it over and over and over again. There's no limitation to how many times you could do this, right? You could do it today, all in one day. You can do it, over and over again. And the idea is mitigating your risk, right? So like locking in that gain and taking the risk off the table. Let's see, Palantir is too expensive to liquidate, so do I wait until it expires? But you want to look at the whole thing, Joy. So you want to look at, buying your callback is going to be expensive because the stock went way up. But you want to look at the whole picture. If I buy my callback for X dollars, I'm going to lose X dollars. I sold the call for X, now I buy it back for X. That gives me a X dollar loss. But at the same time, if you do that and then right after sell your shares, like for example, let's say, and you didn't put what your numbers are, but let's say, Palantir is at 162. Let's say you bought it at, 125, right? And I'm going to show you the raw math, but you use the app to really dial it in and show you and walk you through it. So if you, let's say you bought it at 125, and let's say, let's use Friday. Let's see what a 125 call is. $3,700, right? Because it went up high, right? Because it's got a lot of like intrinsic value, we call that, in the call, right? So let's say, what was that number? 3,700. So let's say you sold the call for $500 and then you got to buy it back for 3,700. Use the app, but this is going to be the math of it. You're going to lose 3,400 on the call. But at the same time, let's see, at the same time, right now, Palantir is at 162, right? So if you, I'm just using an example, you sell it at 162 and you originally bought the shares at 125, you're gonna make 3,700. So, okay, I'm gonna lose 3,600, but make 3,700, I'll net $100. I'm just giving you raw examples. So you calculate that versus, okay, if I wait, I'm going to keep the premium, that's X dollars, and X dollars is going to be the gain on the capital gain, right? So you want to evaluate that. Usually you make more if you let it expire. So that's usually how it works. And that's kind of logical, because if you wait a little bit more, you maintain that risk, and then your reward is a little bit higher. But the thought process is to go through and say, okay, I could do it now and take the risk off the table, because here's the thing, maybe Palantir turns around tomorrow and drops down to 125 again. So we don't know. So it's always good to, at least evaluate, let me lock in a gain, and what does that look like, right? Again, compare it. Here's what it is if I liquidate it now, and here's what it would be if I wait until expiration. So that's the exercise that you'd go through. Let's see, what other questions do you guys have? Oh, somebody just asked me a question on my YouTube channel. I'll answer that. So they said, I use Schwab. What's the process for choosing which lots get assigned to the covered call? In your example, I think this was the video I did yesterday they're talking about. In your example, before selling the $50 call, do you contact the broker to specify which lot you want to use? Or can that be done after opening the position? What's the procedure at Schwab? And this is from Aaron. I don't know if you're listening here, Aaron, because you put it somewhere else. This is super important. And it's interesting because somebody emailed me today and talked about going back to Robinhood. They were with Robinhood, they went to Schwab, and now they're going back to Robinhood. And I'm like, oh my gosh, did you not watch the video I put up yesterday? Like with certain broker dealers, you cannot allocate the lots. And let me just speak briefly about that. I did a video yesterday, a live stream and a video. And I don't understand why people still aren't getting it sometimes. Man, I just want to shake people sometimes. Listen, if you buy stock multiple times, the strategy that we're talking about is super simple. You choose a ticker, you sell a put, and you buy the shares if the stock comes down. And then you sell a covered call. And if the stock goes down more, you sell another put. And what ends up happening is you end up accumulating shares with different lots. Okay, I bought 100 shares of Palantir at 150, and then I bought 100 shares of Palantir at 120, or whatever the number is. You want to sell a covered call to each specific lot. That's how you want to do it. And if you're with a broker dealer that does not allow you to do that, why are you with them? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I don't know. I think that's 3 times I said the F word. I try not to do that on these YouTube videos because I think I can get in trouble if I'm not mistaken. But sometimes I feel like I really need to enunciate to say, why are you with, that's like, let me try to think of an example. I don't know. There's so many different examples. I'm cooking a dinner party for my friends because they're coming over for dinner, and I'm making pasta sauce, but I don't have a lid, right, for the pasta pot. And so I'm cooking the sauce, and the sauce boils over, and it makes a mess. Just go get a lid. Like why? Like you need a lid to make certain things, right? Or yesterday I gave the example of, you know, my reverse doesn't work in my car. I don't need it a lot because I don't really parallel park or anything. I probably don't use reverse often, but I need it sometimes. It's like driving a car with no reverse gear. I don't know, like why would you trade options with a broker dealer if you cannot allocate the lots? Like you're just, I think you shouldn't be trading options. If you're doing that, and you know what, I'm just gonna say it like this, because sometimes you just gotta, like, I don't know, be like not rude, but be honest and to the point, and really like explain it in a way that people cannot misunderstand it, right? If you're trading options and you're using like Alpaca or Moomoo or Robinhood as an example, man, you will not, I will almost guarantee you, I will bet you whatever you want to bet. It's not in a negative, derogatory way, but over the long term, you will not make money. You just will not. Not over the long term, you won't. Anybody can make money short term. Listen, it takes a skill to be in this game for 29 years, I can tell you that. Like, otherwise, like I wouldn't be doing it anymore if I wasn't successful, because you can't do something for 30 years and not be good at it. It's just not possible, right? And the reason I say that is because they don't let you allocate the lots. Like, if you bought shares at 150 and then you sell at 150, so this user, this viewer rather on YouTube is asking, okay, I bought shares at $50 and then I also bought shares at $65. I sell a $50 call and I get my shares assigned. I'm going to tag those shares to that $50 call to those shares that I paid $50 for, not 65, because if I use the $65 shares, I'm going to lose $1,500. Like, why would you do that? And why would you be with a broker dealer that doesn't offer you the choice? So you're just not making the right choices, and you should not be trading because you're just not, something's not clicking for some reason. Yeah, tough love. So Maria said, listen, I got 3 kids, so like I've learned like over years, and a strong relationship with only 2 of them. So I've learned over the years, tough love is like, you know, sometimes you got to do it. And you know, it's interesting because like a long time ago, like you know, young kids, right? Let's say they play soccer and they play terrible, but the coach gives them all trophies and builds their confidence up. You know, I don't believe in that sometimes. Like they suck. Like don't make them think that they're amazing when they're not. Tough love. There's a spot for tough love, and this is tough love right here. So in answer to Aaron's question on YouTube, if you're with Schwab, you call them on Monday. So you call them on Monday and you say, hey, I had this $50 call get assigned on Friday, and I want to allocate those shares to the 100 shares that I bought on X date, whatever, and I paid X dollars is my cost basis, let's say $49.87 or whatever the case is. They make the change for you, and then Tuesday you check your account and make sure they did what they said that they were gonna do. So there's like this 2-part thing. If you're with Interactive Brokers, it's even easier. They have like a tool online, and you do it yourself, and I think it's due on Saturday. So you do it like, you know, Friday happens, you get assigned, you wake up Saturday morning, and you allocate the shares yourself. And again, you double check your account after and make sure the shares that are still there are the shares that should still be there. So that's how you make money. Listen, again, this is not about like, let me just make some money for the next month. This is about, let me make some money. Let me look at things differently. Let me change my perspective on trading, on stocks, on options, on realized gains versus realized losses, or paper gains, paper losses. And then I had a few people drop off since I've been talking. I wonder if that tough love hit some people hard. Oh my gosh, maybe, I don't know. I'm genuine. So like one thing I will never be is like a liar about anything ever, right? So it's like what you see is what you get. And either you dig it or you don't dig it. And I'm a big believer that like we go through life and we interact with the people that we interact with, and it's all like this meant to be thing, right? So like some people call it different things, but you know, I never try to put up like a mask because like I don't want to interact with the wrong people or the people that I'm not meant to interact with. So it's all good. And as long as I feel good about everything I'm saying, and I'm truly like my intention is to help, right? So it's not to hurt anybody's feelings. It's not to, you know, make fun of anybody or call anybody stupid or anything like that. It's truly to help people, and that's the premise of which I say these things. So either you dig it or you don't. Thank you for the hearts, by the way. Whoever's sending those hearts, I can't really tell. So yeah. So anyway, that's kind of how those lots work. And by the way, this paper trading, all the stuff that I'm talking about is I'm incorporating all the amazing stuff and all the problems that I see other broker dealers have or don't have or wish they had. I'm using it in this app so you can learn the best way and set you up for success. Listen, trading is hard. If it was easy, I'm gonna say it like this, and maybe this is like a different way to say it. If trading was easy, everybody'd be trading. Everybody'd be like kicking their feet up and doing whatever they want to do, kind of like what I've been doing for the last whole bunch of years, right? If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. So it's not easy because a lot of people lose money doing it. But it is simple, like the foundation behind it. Sell a put, sell a covered call. There's some nuances that you have to learn. And by the way, we have an amazing WhatsApp group. Oh my gosh, it's off the hook. Every morning, I'm going to start making, so this is the second morning. I started the WhatsApp group on Sunday, I think it was. And every morning what I'm doing is I'm making a video. I don't know just what pops into my head, and I'm sending it out to the WhatsApp people. And it's just meant to be like, okay, this pops in my head. This is what I see. People make mistakes doing this or doing that. And it also gives people the opportunity to sync with one another. I'm a big believer, whoever you spend your time with is kind of the kind of person that you're going to become, right? Like you know, you can't, I mean, you can, I don't want to say you can't, you can do whatever you want to do. You guys are grown adults, right? But when you spend your time with certain types of people, like you start becoming like that, right? Like people rub off on one another. And that's just the way life is. It's not an intentional thing. It's just like, it's natural, I think. And so it's always good to like sync with other like-minded people. I'm a big believer in that. I do a lot of like things on a regular basis. Like I often do a lot of spiritual stuff. I haven't done one in a while. Like a while ago when I ended up in Bali, I went to a Vipassana retreat. Vipassana is for those of you who don't know, it's like a meditation type thing, and it was amazing, and I met some amazing people. And so like you put yourself in places where other people are that are interested in the same sorts of things, spirituality or trading or whatever, and it's really good. Like everybody helps each other, supports one another. So it's a great community that you can ask questions. People share different ideas. A couple people posted yesterday about different tickers that they're trading. So that is for app subscribers, by the way, and it's free. But if you're an app subscriber, you can get into the WhatsApp. So that's super cool. And all right, one more question, 1243. Does the app work specifically for selling weekly options only, in contrast to not buying options? I think most of the functionality is geared toward weekly. So like when you run scans, as an example, like let's say you run an earnings edge, which is by far like the diamond of this app, like as far as finding a trade, it's so amazing. Like when you run a scan, I am only looking at weekly contracts. So I created all the logic for this stuff because I don't think anybody should be selling non-weekly. First of all, you don't have as much, it's not as actively traded, and then you're locking up your money for longer. And you have that, it's just, you're not creating weekly income. There's a lot of different reasons. So like, for example, this and most of everything, if not all of everything, is just looking at weekly stuff. So yeah, check out this earnings edge. I'm gonna leave you guys with this thought. This is super cool. So I screen the environment for all the stocks that have earnings coming up in the next 14 days, right? And the premise behind that is because when earnings happen, volatility is higher. And when volatility is higher, we're paid more as option sellers. It's kind of like, you know, I don't know. Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you an example. You know, some natural disaster happens, and sometimes people like raise their rates, right? Like bottled water, instead of being $2, now it's $3. That kind of thing. It's kind of like that, but it's a lot less. It's not sleazy, right? So you're paid more for the risk that you're taking because of the volatility being increased. So this shows, okay, well let me look at some different options, right? And then you can also sort. Let me look at, I don't know, let me go out a little bit longer. I want to look at 24 days for whatever reason. Let me sort the other way. 3 days, 10 days, you know, whatever. Let me sort by price. You know, hey, I only have like a $10,000 account. Let me find a $20 stock, or, you know, let me sort by premium. I want to make X dollars, or let me sort by annualized rate of return. And then you could click into it. I don't know, you could click into one of them and it gives you all the data. Like, okay, here's what the market expects. Here's the historical. If you're going to sell a put, you know, look at this put here, and here's how much you're making, and here's how much capital you put up. And all this stuff is going to be linked to the, not just, I haven't linked broker dealers yet. So you guys can all, as you know, connect your broker dealer, but read only. So at some point I'm going to turn that on so you can actually push that trade to Schwab, and you don't have to like close this app and open up Schwab. You could just do it all in one place. And also you're going to be able to just push this trade. Like I have this send to Alpaca because I was testing with them, but Alpaca sucks because you can't designate your own lots. I never knew that until yesterday. A lot of these things you don't know until you happen to bump across it. I never traded with them before building this app and using them for integration. Yeah, I'm going to add a button here probably in the next day or two, and then you're going to push that to the paper account, right? Which is cool. And then again, you can, you know, look at your different trades. Owen in the group here on the WhatsApp, he was like, man, I wish I could input notes on my trades, right? I added that this morning. So before I went to the gym. So you can, okay, I did this SMCI call and I want to add some notes. I don't know, whatever that is. And then you can go back and reflect on it afterward. So, yeah, so that makes me feel really good. Like I'm building what I think is a great for me. And then as you guys are using it, when you make suggestions, I'm implementing those as well. And by the way, Joy Mobile is coming. So that's probably going to be here in the next week or so, because it's not really mobile friendly at the moment. Not completely, but that's coming, and that's in the works. So anyway, cool. I hope that helps. Let's see. I did have, I'm not going to get freaky about it, but I did have a few people drop off since I've been talking. So hopefully you guys like the content. Listen, I don't make much money. I make like $2 from YouTube every time I do a live stream. So I guess it doesn't really matter, but I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I want to make sure it, you know, if that comes through genuinely, that I'm trying to help. I want to say we're gonna exit now, and tomorrow's a new day, 12 o'clock Pacific. Check out the app, bro. 7-day free trial, $100 a month, and I think that's so inexpensive for the value it gives you, and be sure to opt into the inner circle, because when I plan this live event, I'm going to send everybody an email and tell you about it. It's going to be super cool. All right. I thank you guys for being here. Give yourself a pat on the back for coming to learn. And man, go change your life. Do something different that you did yesterday. You can't make changes in your life unless you change what you're doing, right? I'm a big believer in that. Like, we can't just keep doing the same thing and expecting the same result. Step outside your comfort zone. All the amazing stuff happens outside of your comfort zone, right? Like, I keep that in mind. Like, you know, I've been skydiving a couple times. I scuba dive. I do some cool stuff that maybe is a little bit more on the dangerous side. And I think about that, like, all the amazing stuff happens on the other side of your comfort zone. Conquer your fear. fear is an irrational emotion. So conquer that. Thank you for the hearts. I love that. I like sprinkling in these kind of like, I don't know, life things as we're talking, because it's very trading life. It's all kind of the same thing. And I will see you guys tomorrow, and happy trading. In the meantime, go have yourself an amazing rest of your day.